Hey everyone, this is Ryan Khan, and this is going to be a video where I tell you guys all about team building and team formations in the Supreme Arena in AFK Journey, as well as the regular arena, I guess. The Supreme Arena is just a more advanced form of the regular arena, so if you can learn how to make a team in this arena, it should be a piece of cake. We're gonna go over the fundamentals, and I'm gonna give you a lot of tips as well as go into some details, so make sure to watch till the end. And if you do have any questions, please do let me know in the comments below. As you can see, I am rank 18 currently. I could push myself up to top 10, maybe even top 5, but I'm gonna wait for that and I'll tell you why later on in the video. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the formations. I'm just gonna clear out all my formations. So there are 3 maps in total in the Supreme Arena, in case you guys don't know. And I'm just gonna clear everything so we do everything from scratch. Third one. There we go. Check this one. Right, so basics first. You want, in any of your teams, guys, you want to either outlast your opponent or be able to beat them. And to do that, there are a few rules that you should follow. Very simple rules. Most of you must already know them. And that is to have a tank that is going to tank your enemies, a healer that will add to the sustenance and longevity of your team. And then, of course, you have DPSs that allow you to kill your opponent's teams and win the battle. So, very simple, nothing surprising here. But what should be the first thing that comes to your mind when you're about to build a team, when you're about to form a team in this Supreme Arena? What should be the first thing? So, here's what I do. Think of your strongest team. I'm guessing it's most probably the team that you are already using in the arena. And without thinking further, put that team in one of the maps. Choose your favorite map. If you know that your team excels on a certain map, go ahead and put that team down. I'm gonna do that right now. Anyone up for a terrain? So my Dionnal is one of my strongest units. And okay, so I'm gonna put Dionnal here. I am gonna put Leica because he needs... Okay, so also, while I build this team, I should also add that when you do form a team, know your hero's skills and how that hero works. For example, Dionnal needs 3 stacks of Nectar Feast, and each stack is gained when he gets buffed by a unique unit. And by unique, I mean not the same unit. So when Leica buffs Dionnal for attack speed, he gets a stack of Nectar Feast. Now, where does the second stack come from? The second stack for me comes from Damien. Because Damien, when he's Mythic Plus, his exclusive weapon, he provides haste buff, which is another buff. That's the second stack of Nectar Feast for Dionnal. Where does the third stack come from? The third stack comes from none other than Scarlita. Now, another cool trick that you could do here is to use Enlightening Spell, because Enlightening Spell also gives you an attack speed buff, which is also a buff, and this could be the third unique source for his third stack of Nectar Feast. But I have Scarlita, so instead of using Enlightening Spell, I simply use Confining Spell because it works really well. Now, so half of my team is already, like more than half of my team is already built. There's Dionnal, the main DPS carry. Leica buffs Dionnal. Damien is a healer / buffer. Scarlita is a bit of everything. She carries as well. She shields, she buffs the team, and she also wrecks the enemy when she comes down. Anyway, not going into detail about that. Now, the only thing that I'm missing is a tank, and for that, I'm going to use Granny. Because Granny she's very tanky, and He has CC, so it works really nicely for my team. And there you have it. That is my strongest team currently, and I'm going to put it as it is in the Supreme Arena in one of the maps. Why do I do this? Why don't I take Scarlita and I put it in like one of the other maps, you know? Why not have two teams that have one really strong character? Well, because you need to win only 2 fights in the Supreme Arena, and the competition you're going to face at the top, or like just in general, I guess it's a good thing to assume that the competition you'll face is going to be tough no matter where you are. So I want to solidify one of the maps as my ultimate map. Like, this team is more like, there's a very low chance that this team loses. So I have a guaranteed win in the Supreme Arena. So that's my first team. Okay. Now, we have 2 maps left. One thing that I should tell you guys is that the second map is always going to be a raging duel map. And what is a raging duel map? Well, there's nothing too special about it. The only difference is that it's a regular map, but there's a certain extra mechanic added to this map, and that is the rage meter. The rage meter is going to be on both sides, and it is going to fill up depending on the condition that is shown on the left. So here we can see, if you look at the left of the screen, it says when any unit deals multiple consecutive damage, their side's rage increases, triggers once at most every 1 second per character. The side with the full rage meter enters a battle fervor state. What does multiple consecutive damage mean? Let's click this. Deals damage at least 3 times within 2 seconds. So if this condition is met, you'll increase your rage bar at your side. And if your rage bar fills all the way to the max, you get a battle fervor state, which is increases all non-summoned allies' damage dealt by 30%, damage reduction by 30%, and haste by 30 until the end of the battle. I mean, that is insane and very important. So you want to make sure that you choose a team that will fulfill this requirement. Now, we've already gone over the fundamentals: tank, support / healer, and DPSs. This is your bread and butter template that you use to form a team. That is the first thing. What should be the second thing that comes to your mind while making a team? Faction bonus. If you guys don't already know, for each team consisting of the same types of unit, for each of those units, you get extra attack. So if you head over to, or you can either look at the top right or top left, doesn't matter. Let's take a look at the top left, because this shows you your team's power, and it shows you the formation faction bonus. Okay, let's go to the team that I've already formed actually. So if we click this, okay, it doesn't actually show because I haven't saved it. Never mind. Basically what happens, if you look at this team, guys, which faction is Laika from? She's a Wilder. Which faction is Damien from? Wilder. Which faction is Granny from? Wilder. And Diurnal and Scarlita are celestial units. Always remember that celestial units or hypogean units are generic units, so they will blend in with your faction bonus. So you can consider this as a 5 faction bonus team. I have 3 Wilders, celestial Diurnal, 2 celestials. They will also add to the faction bonus. So I essentially will have 5 heroes. So I'll have the maximum bonus that the faction can give me. I'll show you guys at the end. When I save this, you'll be able to see, because the number is highlighted and you can see the faction bonus. This is important because if you manage to get a faction bonus, you're getting extra stats for free as compared to forming a team that does not give you a faction bonus. Okay, now that we've talked about that, also remember that I am kind of an endgame player, so I have a plethora of units to choose from. So I'm able to choose characters from the same faction and kind of end up with a nice team, you may not be in a position to do that, and it's fine. You're not forced to use similar factions to create a bonus. It's more important to form the right team than to have the faction bonus. For instance, if you're trying to shove 5 DPS units that are of the same faction, hypothetical situation, that's probably not a good idea, because they're all gonna get tanked probably, and if they get wiped out, like you'll just lose instantly, because the opponent's tank is going to absorb damage, and their DPSs will just take all of your DPSs down because they're all squishy. Anyway, let's go ahead and make a team for this map. So, Raging Duel, multiple consecutive damage. Deals damage at least 3 times within 2 seconds. Okay, I think the Mauler team is probably a great idea. OD attacks multiple times a second, so 100% going to put OD here. Let's go ahead with Coco. Let's go ahead with Entendre as the main tank. And I'm going to put Smokey right here. Okay, we have one more option. I'm gonna choose Elsa, because if Elsa pops off, she really pops off, and she can also deal a ton of magic damage. So we have kind of like a magic damage dealer team going on in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and choose the Crescent spell, which blends in well with this team because uses skill damage, yeah, plus defense formation, tons of attack, and I have magic damage units, so it helps them a lot. So now I have my second team. So yeah, once again, like if you look at this, yeah, so here you can see it on. That's kind of weird. I could have sworn your team shows on the left side, doesn't it? Anyway, you get the point. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, attack plus 22%. When there are 3/3+5 or 4 or 5 heroes from the same faction in your team, attack and HP deployed of all deployed heroes plus this. So if you have maximum faction bonus, which I do have because I have every single one of my characters is a Mauler, same faction, so I'm getting maximum faction bonus. So that's a fine team, and I have an excellent artifact spell. So there you have your second team for the Raging Duel map. Remember, the second map is always going to be the Raging Duel map. And let's go ahead to the last map. Now what do? I think I'm going to go for a Graveborn team, because my Graveborns are strong, and they're just really strong in the arena in general. And these tiles, so yeah, so the first map has a very interesting mechanic. You might be noticing that some of these tiles have this bluish outline around them. Well, that's because any hero that stands on these tiles, you can also see this eye with a cross over it, this icon, they're going to be invisible to the enemy. So the enemy won't know what's where until the battle starts. So I'm going to try to fit in my entire team within this, but know that it's not necessary. For example, okay, I'm going to use Human as the healer. I'm going to use Aaron here, so he clumps up the enemy. Now, the last enemy, the last hero, I'm going to use Igor. He's really strong. Now, here's like a pro tip here. I could put Igor here, so like my entire team is pretty much invisible. But I could do something really cool with Igor that will automatically deter my opponent from using certain tactics against me. And that is Vala/Sylvina. So, for those of you who don't know, Vala is an assassin type champion hero who focuses the backline, more specifically the backmost champion, and attempts to assassinate him or her. And if she succeeds, she pops off real hard. Now, what Igor excels at is it's just being super annoying throughout the fight. He creates gravestones wherever he goes, and he jumps from one tile to another. Like, he can jump all over the map. He's very agile, and he basically does not die until he either runs out of those gravestones, or he just gets insta-killed by someone like OD, for example. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put him at the very back. Now this is pretty much going to screw any Vala comp, because if they try to use Vala, she's automatically gonna focus Igor. And Igor simply doesn't die until he runs out of the gravestone. So what's gonna happen is she'll focus Igor. He's gonna keep jumping around again and again and again and again, and that comp will just fail miserably. And for that reason, I'm going to keep Igor right there. And for this team, I'm going to use Quick Blade spell. I get a ton of physical defense and magic defense and crit, and periodically damage and stuns the frontmost, so I have more CC, reducing their physical depth. Absolutely insane. I'm getting stuns here. I have more stuns from Aaron. I have more stuns from what's her name, Carolina, and I have a ton of defensive stats, and I have Ewan for heal, and I've countered Vala comp to an extent with Igor. So this is looking like a pretty solid team, and now I have 3 full teams for my Supreme Arena. And that is kind of like my thought process when I'm making teams. You just need to kind of think about, start from the fundamentals: tank, healer, support, DPS. Then think of your best team. Think of your best team. Don't think any further. Put that on a map. That's your ultimate team. That'll guarantee you a win. Think about it this way. And the other 2 maps, well, if you win in any of those, you already have a super strong team that is most likely to win. So you have a pretty good chance of successfully defending against any opponent. But also bear in mind that since you are defending free maps, it gets really tricky, and the attacker will pretty much always have an advantage unless you have some really god tier defense mechanics, which is really hard to do in 3 maps, because, well, you don't have enough units to, for example, I have used Igor as a countermeasure for Vala here, but on the second map, OD is extremely vulnerable. So what I could do is I could put Coco at the very back, but then Coco will get sniped, which is also not good. I could use, instead of Coco, I could put Brutus here, because Brutus has an invincibility, has a few seconds of invincibility, so he will survive no matter what. But once again, I'd much rather have a super offensive team than not. And there's only so much you can do, right? Like, the attacker will always have the edge, because they can choose which team to send against which team, and that is exactly why you should always have one map that is rock solid and is most likely to win. So yeah, this is how you form teams, guys. I know I went over a lot of stuff. I hope that makes sense to you. There's a lot of subtle nuances. I can't go into too much detail into this video. Maybe I'll make another video and go take a deep dive into skills and everything. But that's for another video. For this video, you now know how to form teams, the fundamentals, what to think of when you're forming teams in the Supreme Arena, how to excel. I hope this helps you out. And let's go ahead and save this. Next, save. So now I have a very nice formation saved. I'll show you a history, for example. So these 2 guys try to attack me, but they both failed. So this guy, as you can see at the bottom, my first team failed, but my second and third team were able to get him. Okay, this person, Baobab, and my first team succeeded, my second team failed, my third team succeeded. Remember what I said about your ultimate team? My third team succeeded in both of these defenses. Like, even if you look at this defense that failed 2 days ago, my first two teams failed because he countered them or something. But my third team still won because that's my ultimate team. And you know, if I had won any one of the first battles, I would have won. I would have successfully defended. So that's kind of like a 101 team formation, 101 defending 101 into the Supreme Arena. I hope this helps you out. Don't stress. Use the heroes that you have if you're new into the game, or if you've just started the season, or if you're like an F2B player. Don't worry too much. Just remember the fundamentals: tank, healer, support, damage dealer. Try to form teams, and I hope that you do well. I wish you all the best. And if this video helped you guys, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. I'll be making a lot of AFK journey content in the future, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Adios.